Ethos of Silence.
A veteran podcast aims to amplify the voices of veterans, creating a safe space for authentic conversations about their experiences, challenges, and triumphs. We seek to break the stigma surrounding mental health and foster community support, resilience, and understanding. Through storytelling, expert insights, and candid discussions, we strive to inspire healing, promote awareness, and empower veterans on their journeys.
Welcome.
If you're not growing.
All right, yeah, man. If you're not living, you're dying. That's for sure. We're definitely not adding that clip though.
No,
that's not even going in the blooper reels. That thing's getting deleted. It's gone.
That was a guy we drug out.
It's gone.
Yeah, we don't even want him even near being known, but people can assume.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And if you're growing, you're going.
Growing, huh?
You got to grow and go.
Yeah. If you're growing, you're gonna go and get into some trouble.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, we just talked about keeping that one in check.
That's it. Nothing like some good check mix.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
accountability partner.
All right. So welcome back, Ethos of Silence. Host here, guys. TJ. Got my road dog KG taking care of holding everything down.
Everybody.
Yeah. I like what we got into there with the Ethos. Let's roll back some more, man. The Academies of War. So we went through training, and now we've been jumping in. We jumped into our first little external things that's going on, and that was interesting, man.
It really brought it down to a simplified way of living. Well, they lived it day to day.
But it also sparked some other conversations that I wasn't quite sure how to bring up or how to get to. You know what I mean? Like it took my mind to places about things that I want to talk about that's on my mind, but it kind of just flowed into what you were saying more than me trying to figure out how to get into the fact of the way we raise our kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it is extremely interesting that whenever you break down the ethos, which is basically the religion that you're born into with these warrior cultures, that it hits so close to home that we want to talk and have these other conversations that pull off of ethos.
Oh yeah, it all just melts into people once you start letting it flow. It really does. Each part of it has a doorway into another thing that's going to, in essence, kind of help better understand where we're coming from and better understand, like we've said, our history.
Yeah,
our historical parts of what we know is very it's very much important now for us to know.
It's the religion of a warrior is basically what ethos is. And the two things you're not supposed to talk about in culture are religions and politics because because they're so rooted in people's ideology and development that you're not going to change somebody's stance on either one, right? So whenever you throw in ethos of a warrior, you're never going to change the stance of a warrior's ideas and mindsets wrapped around war. Wrapped around what they've been through, what they've done, you know?
I'm hoping this channel gets us a chance to do that because we're not able to sit down and have conversations about that. That's where we're creating this platform.
That's where I want to have the conversations, dude. I want to have conversations about politics. I want to talk about what is going on in the country and how you can fix it.
I'm in my 40s, so we should do that.
I want to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to have conversations about religion and understand why we are at an impasse between these two cultures that are basically just the foundational morals for how we exist in a country.
Conversations help us understand each other in a country so divided, for sure. And we're missing it. Decades ago, we had it. Now it's a niche thing, or it's a hot topic subject for people to get on and start talking.
And I'm hoping this podcast creates the environment, creates the community for support with veterans, and creates the environment where veterans now feel comfortable to go into and explain their triumphs, what they've done, what they've accomplished, and how amazing they are.
Yeah.
You know, and not be afraid to put a Marine Corps sticker on your truck because of people, you know, not that a Marine would be afraid of anybody, you know, but
we don't want to think that either.
You know, to have a little bit of pride, to be that American who's got the flag that he raises in the front of his house every day.
That's right.
And you're proud of it.
Let's unlock that. Let's unlock the padlock off of that. Let's make it blow back across the nation, and a new wind of freedom and a new wind of change that can elevate from the smallest to the people that don't really feel like they have a voice anymore in any areas. And they find out they have so much in common.
Oh, do we ever? The entire nation has so much in common. So much.
They need one spark to pull them back in and go, wait a minute. We're not that far off.
Yeah, but that spark doesn't have to be the tragedies that has been in the past.
Over and over, yeah. And all in the media. Yeah. Nope, that doesn't have to be.
Anyway, let's jump into the next chapter. Let's see what we got.
Sounds good.
Talk about hopes and dreams, making me all fantasize about myself over here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the complete direction of change that's needed. Thank you. Here we go. The opposite of fear is love.
Oh, man. Here we go.
What's
Here we go.
Boy always talking about?
Off onto a love tangent.
Yeah, well, love is a weapon. And indeed is a weapon, and is a weapon that was empowered to us by our Holy Father.
It's the most powerful weapon that KG uses against me every day of my life.
I do. Just him and anybody else that wants to be held accountable. The opposite of fear is love, and I do need it too, my accountability. The greatest counterpoise to fear, the ancients believed, is love. The love of the individual warrior for his brothers in arms. At Thermopylae, on the final morning, when the last surviving Spartans knew they were all going to die, they turned to one of their leaders, the warrior Dionysicus, and asked him what thoughts they should hold in their minds in this final hour to keep their courage strong. Dionysicus instructed his comrades to fight, not in the name of such lofty concepts as patriotism, honor, duty, or glory. Don't even fight, he said, to protect your family at home. Fight for this alone. The man who stands at your shoulder, he is everything, and everything is contained within him. The soldier's prayer today on the eve of battle remains not, Lord, spare me, but Lord, let me not prove unworthy of my brothers.
Right.
Man, that line's
death before dishonor.
So much. Death
before dishonor. Yeah.
I'll come back to it. I have it. It's actual verse. It's biblical.
Put it down. Don't come back to it. Let's hit it now.
Was greater hath a man not know. Greater hath a man not know sacrifice. I know I'm slaughtering some of this, than to lay down his life for a friend. And this was meant in that perspective.
Of course.
It is one of the, and those out there that know what
you
I'm talking
definitely
about,
need to learn how to talk in that microphone.
Those out there that are biblical, I'm sure right now you're wording it with your mouths that I'm supposed to be. So write it down in the comments which one it is. And I'll actually go grab my Bible at some point and bring it up. But anyway, what it was saying was, Lord, spare me. Lord, spare me. They weren't saying, Lord, spare me. They were saying, let me not prove unworthy to my brothers. Civilians wonder at the passion displayed by wounded soldiers to get back into their units, to return to the fight. But soldiers understand. It is no marvel to them that men who have lost arms and legs still consider themselves fit for battle. So powerful is the passion to return to their brothers and not let them down. All warrior cultures train their youths to feel this love. They make the youth men on the passage to warriorhood dress alike, eat, sleep alike, speak alike, wear their hair alike, suffer alike, and achieve victory alike. Ordeals of initiation are undergone not as individuals, but as teams, as units.
Yeah.
Courage is inseparable from love and leads to what may arguably be the noblest of all warrior virtues, selflessness.
Yep, definitely.
I did not bring my phone in here. I was going to look that up.
Huh?
Tip of my tongue.
Selflessness, huh?
Selflessness. Than to lay down one's life for a friend, for a brother.
Yeah.
The civilians don't understand that. They pass by someone. You see it in your day-to-day. They can't comprehend what it would mean when that moment arises, or that tragedy, that surprise of anything that could happen to break down society. They wouldn't know what it would mean to protect that person next to them, and that they would probably survive that. That comes from a spirit. It comes from a spirit from thousands of years ago, in which we still indeed know to today, which Jesus himself knew, which you and I know as warriors. Someone unwillingly, this would be the...
Every group, everything you can think of that is a organization comes down to the fact of you representing the good of the organization, but also entrusting the fact that other people do and showing that love and respect to the other members of that said organization, right? Now, when we're talking about a smaller organization like a community with a church, it's the fact of reaching out to people when somebody died and bringing them food and checking in on them and doing all the buddy checks and all that other different stuff, right?
That's love.
So we're talking about that love at a community level. Then we go up from the community level to where we're talking about a family level. So now we're talking about the family, the close-knit family, to where I'm now sitting with you in the room because you're going through a tragedy, and I am just there. Like, my physical presence is the thing that is holding you. Like,
to help bear the burden.
I know you can't talk about it. I know you're not hungry. I know you're not thirsty. I know you don't want anything in the world. My physical presence is showing you that you are not alone in the moment, right? That's a family member, that's a service member, that's somebody being there with you while you're going through something, right? The physical presence, the jumping down in the hole and being in the hole with the guy. Look, man, I've been here before. We'll get out of this, but let's just sit here and be here for a while.
Let's be here just in a minute. Let's okay.
Be here. We're okay.
It's okay to not be okay.
And we're okay right now. So just not be okay, and I'll make sure that we'll stay safe. And I'm here to make sure that we're safe.
That's the spark.
Yeah. The best thing I've ever told somebody, right? So yeah, man, it comes down to so I had this Marine, right? And during the training process, when you're training somebody to be a collateral duty inspector and look at things and do all the other different things, you get to a point to where you then train people on how to do the secret squirrel side of the job, right? And it takes a lot of attention to detail, and you cannot be distracted while you're doing it because you can mess up a lot of stuff, right? So it takes attention to detail. Well, you got to open a big vault and get in there and do all the codes, right? So basically what I did was I pulled this Marine in there and I shut the door behind us, and I was like, look, man, you're being taught how to do some really important stuff, and it's extremely important. When you come in here, you shut that door behind you. The world's shut off. It does not exist. Everything out there has stopped spinning. That's it. We can go back out there. If the world's on fire, we'll grab a fire extinguisher, we'll put it out, and we'll figure it out. Right now, you are doing this. This is your job. This is your responsibility. Everything else does not exist. Your phone doesn't come in here. None of that happens. Whenever you're doing this, you're doing this. This is your responsibility. The world stops spinning.
Yeah.
It's just you and me right now. I'm going to teach you how to do this. Doesn't matter how long we sit in here. When we're done, we'll walk out there. We'll take care of whatever everybody else wasn't able to handle, and it'll be okay. So the ability to lock everything else out and focus on an individual task is extremely, extremely difficult. But when you have a group of people, an organization behind you that makes all of this possible, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's what we're getting into with this, is the fact of an ideology and a religion that is just a warrior's culture, a warrior's way of life, the warrior ethos, right? So the academies develop you into being strong and being able to execute whatever your responsibilities or your job's going to be. The external is going to be the ideology that's born into you. More than the ideology of being indestructible physically, the mental ideology to want to sacrifice yourself for the person to the left and right of you, that their life is more important than your life, which is why we have such a hard time coming back and adjusting to anything whenever we get away from that.
It's not reciprocated. That's not understood. The concept is even lost.
Well, I mean, the concept's even lost when you go to work. I mean, Robert said it best whenever he told us about the fact that we'll go to work, and like I was working on aircraft, you were working around bombs. So we were methodical about what we did. We paid attention when we trained, and whenever we were focused on doing something, we were focused on something and we do it, right? And compared to you go to work and it doesn't matter. You're just a cog on the wheel, or a employee filling orders in, the line of where it goes. So you're just doing a task, almost like a robot. So there is no attention to detail. There is no methodical. There is no urgency to do what needs to be done. So you stand out like a sore thumb because you're the nail that sticks out. My favorite Japanese phrase: the nail that sticks out gets the hammer. I stick out because I'm the one executing my job at a mediocre to fast pace, very methodically, very organized. Everything's being done. Everything's being clean behind me, and it's like I stand out as the one who executes and does what needs to be done because it's what needs to be done. It's what I'm getting paid to do.
Yeah, that's...
It's hard to come back to a society. Like I said in the pilot, it's a society where, I went from a society where I go to work with men, alpha males, surrounded by alpha males who care about my well-being on every day, compared to now I go into a society where it's dog eat dog, and there's only one person who cares, and that's you, who cares what you do.
Yeah. And you've got to navigate through any situation to even have yourself believe that any of them really have any understanding about
that's it.
what you're thinking or going through.
Yeah.
You can't give them that kind of credit. You can't give them the responsibility of what we've learned.
Well,
They've not learned that.
You can't give them the benefit of the doubt.
No way. They haven't
earned it.
No. They're just
another. They're the same people who are jealous of the fact that you get Veterans Day off and don't understand what the hell Veterans Day is.
Yeah. Yep.
The same people walking around telling you thank you for your service have no idea what that means. No idea what it was.
Just got to say it on one day. One day I got to do this. It'll be back to normal tomorrow.
Yeah. Like it never happened. All of your sacrifice meant nothing. But it establishes the fact of the ethos. It establishes the mindset, and it establishes what we've got going on.
We put it here. We record it down here. We make it.
Well, we make a community of people who can excel at life and be proud of their achievements, but also be able to reflect on their service and what they've done and be proud about the fact that they served. No matter if they are eligible to join the VFW and all the amazing things the VFW does for you, or if they never deployed, they were still part of this alpha
absolutely
generation of people.
Oh, absolutely.
They're part of that slight percentage of Americans who join the military.
Even down to their family members. They should be drawn into each and every part of that.
Yeah.
It's the family, too. Yeah.
It is the family. It takes a total sacrifice. It really does.
Unfortunately, we can't go back to all being farmers in the world. That's just not going to reverse itself.
No, we can't be the Afghans in the last one who blow up the fucking road so that, we are not able to take the innovations that Alexander the Great's trying to do to Afghanistan to move our country forward.
No, there's no one doing it. But we can insert some love in it. And we can insert some platform that is an opportunity to create the community, to make it seem as though it may start off as a glimmer and a spark.
Love and passion and growth, and it starts with the ideology of the kids. And that's why it's so important to raise such a strong family unit.
It's very important. Yeah. You've really got to see what's happening in the world and change to each individual household.
But you have to have those conversations with your children. You have to.
No. Yeah. I know I seem hard on you, but, I love you more than anything in the world. But the world's going to be harder on you. I want to build you up.
My buddy sent me an amazing, amazing clip about why the world's so hard on me.
You got to send me that.
I will. It's not something to share on here. I'll definitely send it to you, though. It's definitely not something to share on here. It's got a bit of an innuendo to it.
Is it G? Is it rated G?
No. It is not rated G. Well, I mean, it is because it's only words. There's no pictures, But it basically comes down to it's because I look so good that the world just it has a hard on for me.
Yeah. Never mind. On second thought, don't send it to me.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I'll just pass it to you.
All right.
But yeah, that's too much pride for me. You don't want a guy like me having pride.
Yeah, no. I understand. I understand why you didn't join the Marines. You just can't handle it.
From the peanut gallery comes
there we
the
go.
Marine hit.
Hell yeah.
I'll admit I did walk right by the office.
Let's jump into the next one. You saw the uniform, it was like, yeah, I can't pull that off.
Well, I also the thing was, there's Army, there's Marines. Army goes towards the bullets. The Marines definitely go towards the bullets. I want to go towards the bullets. Join the Marines. My dad, Army. Grandpa, Army. Great-grandpa, Army. Okay, I can make something with this Army work. So I was the Robert. I could have been the Robert, part Marine, part Army. I could have taken all of that.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but you didn't open the book and read the next damn part.
No. I'm not I would have been a soldier, but I didn't. I'm not that one. I had to.
Yeah, you're I would have been a Marine, but I wasn't.
Yeah, right. I'm not that guy. No, I was all there. I mean, I was. Give me the hat, shirt, and shoes to match. Where do I sign? On anything. Yeah, I love that story. I would have been one. I was going to go, but then I met a girl. I was going to go, but then the summer of '87 came and went, and I didn't join anymore.
Strawberry wine. Huh? Strawberry wine. Sweet.
How much did you have? That's one summer you could have just joined.
Oh man.
Yeah. No regrets, man.
No regrets.
No, none.
Not one.
I'm tangled up into this weave of everything that has to do with our society.
All right, so now we've got some nonsensical rambling going on for the last 5 minutes.
We got it, but that's
hopefully they enjoyed it though.
Did you enjoy that? I hope you enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah, all part of entertainment for you.
I hear you.
Yeah, so
you want to jump into a little more of it or what?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what we got going here. So we talked about a very important topic, and I haven't read this book, by the way. I'm reading it along with you. And so, to my, I'll say my pleasure, is the one key component, and that's what we just discussed in chapter 13. We're on the Warrior's Ethos for those who've just joined, and we're in chapter 13, page 40. We just read chapter 13, and it is a very important topic about the opposite of fear is love. And TJ and I was just discussing that. Love is the weapon that rules over all things. So we're moving to chapter 14, and this goes hand in hand with selflessness. Our other chapters, we're talking about the internal and external formings of soldiers. Well, let's start off here with Plutarch.
Plutarch, huh?
Plutarch asked, why do the Spartans punish with a fine the warrior who loses his helmet or spear, but punish with death the warrior who loses his shield? Well, let's find out. Because helmet and spear are carried for the protection of the individual alone. The shield protects every man in the line. Absolutely.
Thigh to neck, Ethiopies. Yeah. Thigh to neck.
Thigh to neck.
I'm sorry. You will be no use to us in the battle. You can carry off the dead, but if you can't protect the man to left and right of you, you're not used to us.
And his simple mind gave away the Spartans.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, nowadays, technology, your weapon is also your shield. So the idiot that gets it run over out in the field on FTX, you look like a moron.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
You guys are morons. I love you, but you're a moron.
But it's right. It's right. I mean, your shield. Your shield.
Yeah, it's a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm facing one way, you're facing another way. We're on another battlefield now. You can't shoot and protect me. You don't have a shield. So, death to you. No, just kidding. Maybe. I don't know. The death warrior, again, it says the spear which punishes with death, the warrior loses his shield. So it's in that line, and we discussed, how the group and the team is important. But it goes on to say the group comes before the individual. This tenet is central to the warrior's ethos. Once Alexander was leading his army through a waterless desert, the column was strung out for miles, with men and horses suffering terribly from thirst. Suddenly, a detachment of scouts came galloping back to the king. They had found a small spring and had managed to fill up a helmet with water. They rushed to Alexander and presented this to him. The army held in place, watching. Every man's eyes was fixed upon his commander. Alexander thanked his scouts for bringing him this gift. Then, without touching a drop, he lifted the helmet and poured the precious liquid into the sand. At once a great cheer ascended, rolling like the thunder from one end of the column to the other. A man was heard to say, "With a king like this to lead us, no force on earth can stand against us." There's another story of Alexander. When he was getting ready to march out from Macedonia to commence his assault on the Persian Empire, he called the entire army together, officers and men, for a great festival at a place called Dium in the Magnesian coast. When all the army had assembled, Alexander began giving away everything he owned. To his generals he gave great country estates, all properties of the crown. He gave timberlands to his colonels, fishing grounds, mining concessions, and hunting preserves to his mid-ranked officers. Every sergeant a farm, even privates received cottages and pasture lands and cattle. By the climax of this extraordinary evening, his soldiers were begging their king to stop. "What?" one of his friends asked. "Will you keep for yourself?" "My hopes," said Alexander. Selflessness produces courage because it binds men together and proves to each individual that he is not alone. The act of open-handedness invokes desire in the recipient to give back. Alexander's men knew from their king's spectacular gestures of generosity that the spoils of any victory that they won would be shared with them too, and that their young commander would not hoard the bounty himself. We in our own day know from history that this war was no calculated gesture or grandstanding stunt on Alexander's part. It sprung from the most authentic passions of his heart. He truly cared nothing for material things. He loved his men, and his heart was set on glory in the achievement of great things.
Selflessness.
Another time, Alexander's army was struggling through the mountains in the dead of winter. I think that's when they were headed way out towards the east. One soldier came straggling into camp, so frozen from the blizzard that he could no longer see or hear.
Wow.
Troops around the fire cleared a seat for the veteran, prepared hot broth for him, and helped thaw him out. When the ancient soldier had recovered enough to comprehend his surroundings, he realized that the young warrior who had given him his seat by the fire was Alexander himself. At once the veteran leapt to his feet, apologizing for taking the king's place. "No, my friend," said Alexander, setting a hand on the man's shoulder and making him sit again, "for you are Alexander, more even than I." This is a very moving story. This is a very moving history. This is just an influential general that indeed, by all concepts of reading this,
being a leader that is one with your men, one with the troops, one with everything, right? So I would hope that any Marine that has been under my charge would feel this type of love and compassion toward me in the way that I've treated them, the way that I've raised them, the way that I've protected them and provided them the resources they need to grow, right? So I have buddies who call me, and I feel that type of love and compassion for them about what they have going on in their lives, and we stay in very close contact. And it's because of stuff like that. It's because of not just being in the suck together, right? Like, it's one thing to go through something and have your man to your left and your man to your right, and you care about them more than you care about yourself, and you're in it together, so it doesn't matter what happens, you're going to make it through because they're here with you, right? Yeah. It's completely different whenever they realize the sacrifice you're giving for them, and from that point forward, they recognize your leadership and your capability and the depth of your actual compassion for them more than just out of a calling for it. It's out of a true compassion. It comes from being a true leader, a true person who understands what's going on with your men and motivating them.
Yeah. We talked about this a couple episodes back, and I think we touched on...
With the fear and the phobias, yeah.
We touched on the fears and the phobias. And I think another time we touched on whether or not we felt that the patriotism, or what we were saying was patriotism, was being passed down and kept in the United States. Was it still something that kids that were coming up and families that were coming up were striving for and following and hearing and being a part of? And hearing it from their families.
Well, that's something
and wanting to go after that. And I just want to encourage there be a young person listening today that this is something to be a part of.
This is their wake-up call. This is them realizing the fact of...
Definitely, even if you have the leadership skills, or if you have the loyalty, or if you don't have a heart.
You're not born with those type of skills. Those skills are developed. Leaders are made. Leaders are molded. Whenever somebody gets that rank, they are given the respect of the rank, and then they earn the respect of their men.
You don't have to be qualified. You just have to be willing to go put it out and open to the man on the left and right to you.
You have to be willing to look inward to yourself and know where you need to improve, and look at the people who are that improvement you want to embody, and chase after the perfection in that direction of each individual person, and become the leader in and of yourself that you know you're capable of being, that you want to be. Like I'm saying here, be the resource. Help us become the resource that you've been looking for. Mm-hmm. Help us tell us what you've been looking for. Tell us what you need, what is out there, and we can direct you in the correct direction. And then you can be a resource for everybody behind you who needs those things or wants those things, and share your contacts. If we're not helping each other, we're failing.
Carry it forward. Carry it forward to the front lines and the back lines. We need good men and women.
But we have good men and women
to join and be part of what this culture has created for the last several hundred years.
We have all that. We just need to come together.
Yeah.
It all exists. It just needs to come together. The resources out there, the money's out there. We just need to make it come together. Cut off the head of the corruption where it's happening, and make it come together.
There's still time, and there's still plenty of opportunity here in this country to make that happen. One generation can make it happen.
One generation will make it happen. Indeed. And we will strive. I mean, it's a life goal. Just like I told you, the passion for this project initially came up from a tragedy in my life that then showed me the fact that I needed to build a community of resources for people, and then to make a difference.
we talked about what needs to happen for veterans and how much you care about your brothers, and we care about them.
And how we're going to make it happen.
And we made it.
We're making it. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Yep. Just again, don't forget to reach out to your battles, reach out to your friends, be kind to one another. Don't pass somebody up without seeing if they're okay. We're all together in this. We're all together in this country.
Yeah, man. Iron sharpening iron. We're making each other better with every episode. Reach out, follow, subscribe, give us some comments, shoot us some messages.
Yep, let us know what you think.
Tell a friend or two about us, man. We are here to help everybody figure out what they need to thrive.
Get your heart swole.
If you need more information on veterans benefits,
and we're out.
Please visit our website at vfwpost4224.org. That's Victor Foxtrot Whiskey, post4224.org. All of our
We now have a moment of silent
description
prayer
of the video.
for those
Please
still in
email
the
us if you
battle,
have any questions.
for our departed comrades, for those missing in action, and for those held as prisoners of war.